Hello, my wonderful chickadees. Today I have a very quick lesson for you. All right, it is a general review today. This is lesson number 127 from your super duper awesome math book. And the title explains it. It's a general review. There is section 1, 2, and 3 in the class practice, but I'm only going to do section number 1 with you. That is the word problems, okay? Section 2 is matching geometric figures with their names. So, if you need help with that, I would turn back to lesson number 125, where they give you all the geometric shapes and their names. Now remember, you're going to have to know these things for your test. Not just know the names of the geometric shapes, but be able to draw them like we did yesterday in lesson number 126. Okay, so on Friday, on your test, you got geometric figures. I want you to study them. Then you have to do some mental math with measurement equations. You have 9 weeks, how many days is that? 15 feet, how many yards? 9 gallons, how many quarts? 18 pints, how many quarts? 3 hours, how many minutes? So that requires you to know the special facts. How many days in a week? How many feet in a yard? How many quarts in a gallon? How many pints in a quart? And how many minutes are in an hour? Okay? So know your song. Greater to smaller, multiply, smaller to greater, divide again, greater to smaller, multiply, smaller to greater, divide. My voice is a little bit sharp. Okay, so take your handy dandy pencil. Today I'm going with burnt sienna. My name is Miss Caitlin. What's yours? Today is May 13th. Squeaky clean whiteboard. Squeakle, squeak, squeak, squeakity, squeakum, squeak, squeakity, squeak, squeak. Okay, here we go. We're doing the 2 word problems, 1A and 1B. These have multiple steps and we're going to practice together. Word problems need words in the equations, okay? That is the ticket to success. Being able to read means you can do a word problem. So I know you can do it. And they set it up perfectly for you in the way that they write it. If you can read, then you can do the equation, okay? Here we go. Mrs. Jackson baked 42 cookies for the Sunday school picnic. Oh, delicious! I love cookies. Mrs. Calhoun baked 1/3 as many cookies as Mrs. Jackson, and Mrs. Freeman baked twice as many as Mrs. Jackson and Mrs. Calhoun. How many cookies did Mrs. Freeman bake for the picnic? Boy, we have got a lot of equations ahead of us. So, how many cookies did Mrs. Freeman bake for the picnic? Did I hear in all? No, I didn't. So my final equation is not adding up all the cookies together. We just want to know Mrs. Freeman. Okay, so here I'm going to put all the names up. Mrs. Jackson, Mrs. Calhoun, and Mrs. Freeman. I am not putting a plus sign and I'm not drawing underneath everything because we're not going to do that. They don't want to know that. Mrs. Jackson baked 42 cookies, okay? And then in parentheses, Mrs. Calhoun baked 1/3 as Mrs. Jackson. So we know Mrs. Jackson, 1/3 of 42. And then Mrs. Freeman baked twice as many, we know that means 2 times, as Mrs. Jackson and Mrs. Calhoun. The clue word and means plus, okay? So 2 times Jackson plus Calhoun. All right, these are your two parentheses that we need to figure out before we can answer the problem. 1/3 of 42, I know how to do. 2 times Jackson plus Calhoun, I don't know how to do that yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to do what I know. First, 1/3 of 42, that means 42 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 once, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. All right, so we know that Mrs. Jackson made 42 and Mrs. Calhoun made 14. Way to go, Mrs. Calhoun. And now we want to know 2 times Jackson plus Calhoun. Okay, so we have Jackson, we have Calhoun. We can add those together. 2 times 4 is 6, and 4 times 1 is 5. 2 times this. 2 times 56. All right, and I'm going to stack those up on top of each other just to make it a little bit easier. 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So, Mrs. Freeman made 2 times Jackson plus Calhoun. Jackson plus Calhoun equals this. 2 times that is this. How many cookies did Mrs. Freeman bake for the picnic? Mrs. Freeman baked 112 cookies. Yum! Look at all that work. We definitely need to start circling our final answer because there is a lot of work on this board. All right, that is 1A. And now 1B. If you need to see this again, you can start the video over, but I gotta keep going. That's why it's so important to use the names. It's so important to use the names. 1B. The Schultz family went to California for vacation. Duh, they came to California. It's the best state. They traveled 276 miles on Monday, twice as far on Tuesday as on Monday, and 1/2 as far on Wednesday as on Tuesday. How far did they travel in the 3 days? Okay, so that one we're going to add together. We have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. How far did they travel in the 3 days? That means they want to add at the end, okay? Monday, they traveled 276 miles. 276 miles. Tuesday, twice as far on Tuesday as on Monday, so that's 276. And then 1/2 as far on Wednesday, 1/2 of Tuesday. Use the words. They don't give you enough numbers for you to fill out all these things. You've got to set up with your words. If you don't set up with your words, it's going to be difficult. And if I've taught you to do this, then I want you to do it. Okay. 2 times 276. Let's stack those numbers. The one with more digits goes on top. The one with less digits goes on bottom. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry that 1. 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. And 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. So now we know that this is 552. Make sure that your values are lined up, ones, tens, and hundreds. Now, Wednesday is 1/2 of Tuesday. What? Wait, hold on. Twice as far on Tuesday as on Monday, and half as far on Wednesday as on Tuesday. Oh, duh! Anyways, I'm just saying duh now. We're gonna do the math, but I'm saying duh now because I just realized what they were doing. So 1/2 of Tuesday is 552 divided by 2 for, what? No, my bad. 2 goes into 5 2 times, and that makes 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down the 5. 2 goes into 15 7 times. That's 14. Bring down the 2. That's 6. 276. Do you see why Miss Caitlin went duh? Because twice as many is this, and half of this is this. 276, 276, 552. Duh. And now we add them together. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 6 is 14. Carry that 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13, and 13 plus 7 is 20. Carry a 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9, and 9 plus 2 is 11. Don't forget those commas, okay? 1,104. Every part has a thing to say. 1,104. Okay, so how far did they travel in the 3 days? The Schultz family traveled, dang, 1,104 miles in 3 days. I hope they got some bathroom breaks. All right, so those are your word problems for your general review. It's up to you to match those geometric figures to their names, and it's up to you to do that mental math. You got to do it. I can't do it for you. And on the back, you got follow the signs, you got fractions of wholes, you've got multiplication times 11. You have some long division, and then you need to turn all of those denominators into whole numbers. Remember, when you have the same number on the bottom as the top, it all equals 1. Okay? I'll just end the video. I'll erase it later. Bye!